about Steven. His ass is from Boston. Welcome to Coffee and Hardcore.
It's time!
What's up, everybody? It's season 3, episode 6. We are here with Coffee and Hardcore, and I'm Mick Cox, all the way from Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Steven Scopa from Boston, Mass.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Wiley Willis, Chicago, Illinois.
What's up, fellas?
Not much, man. At work.
Dude, you're always at work.
Yep. You ain't wrong.
Well, this is a good episode. Super, super excited about dropping this episode when it comes, because we got some cool coffee that we're reviewing.
Yeah, my wife sent us. Oh,
I know. It's so thankful. I got home from vacation and there it was waiting for me. And I was like, oh, there it is.
dun.
It was good stuff. So
How what? You were going to say killer.
how was it? No, I stopped myself.
How was your vacation to hell?
It was pretty. It was. It's Florida, so you know how it is. It's like there's some good things that happen, but it's like standing on the surf. It's like the surface of the sun. It's like so freaking hot. It's like there was cool things we found. Like I found a cool record shop that had some good coffee in it, so that was great. That was a plus.
That is cool.
There were some other cool places that we found. Of course, we went to see Harry Potter, and we got to see Mickey Mouse, and so it was all right. I think I lost about 20 pounds, so that's probably a plus.
From the heat?
From the heat.
That'll do it.
So yeah.
So you ready? Are you ready for your real vacation now?
Yeah, that totally. Gosh,
Vacation from the vacation. Are you coming to see me sometime soon?
that's the plan.
Yeah. We're going to the UP in September, though. Is that when you were thinking?
We can always work around something.
Yeah. We're going end of September, so.
Okay, cool.
Visit the grandma.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You know, gotta show the baby Otto to the grandma.
Is that going to be is that the first treat?
First time.
Nice.
First treaty trip, bro.
Yes, nice,
First candy
nice.
game.
It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, we took the trip when Libby was pregnant, but that doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count. No.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Cool. So who do we got on the show, guys? Come on.
Yeah, Steven, who's on the show this time?
Yes,
Kate.
Steven.
We got Kate 108 from the Epic 108 band.
108, holy name, baby.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
I fanboyed a little. I tried not to, but it's a good interview. It was a great time.
Yeah,
How can you not?
Yeah,
I haven't even heard
great
it yet.
conversation.
So
I know.
I'm going to hear it when everyone else hears it.
It was a great conversation. I walked away going, "Oh, that was cool." So
definitely.
So excited to drop that. Have everybody listen to that. But not only do we have K108 on the episode, but we've got some great bands to review. The great albums, like some killer stuff. So I'm excited for
Ding.
that.
We also got Mouthful of Locusts coming on and giving a tiny chat.
I know
about their record.
It's really cool that we got some of that stuff going on. It's like a different flavor for the show, and I like it.
Yeah.
I think other folks like it too. So
yeah. Okay.
So what? You guys want to get into this? We want to rock this one out?
Yeah, man. I'm just right here drinking my Coffee and Hardcore Suicide Prevention Oak and Crow coffee. Bing, drop name drop, boom.
Because and that's not the dark stuff. That's the medium stuff, right?
The medium, because yours is the dark, mine's the medium.
That's right.
And I will tell you, I've been working pretty late. I've been working till about pretty much 10 p.m. every night, 10:30. And so I'm used to drinking coffee now until probably about, whoop, my headphones fell out. Probably until about 8 o'clock, right? So I can stay up.
Right.
So today I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. But my body started going, because I've been doing that for 3 months now. Yeah. So my body kind of went into oh, where's this nighttime coffee at? And I'm like, I better make some.
Right.
I'm in trouble.
I know.
I'm
Yes, you are.
addicted.
You're addicted. It's all over now.
Okay.
I used to
it
stop
get-
at 5. I used to stop at 5 p.m. I'm like, that's my cutoff. But
It
if I
gets tough
stopped
when
at,
it
go
gets
ahead.
tough when it gets tough when your schedule changes. Then you got to go back to that 5 o'clock shift, and it can be definitely difficult to adjust to. You know.
yeah. Oof. Tell you what, I basically wake up, I'm drinking coffee. Almost when I go to bed, I'm drinking coffee.
Right.
Got to have energy to, take care of the boy during the morning and then to work all into the night times. Cool. Well, thanks for having me back on. Let's get into it, shall we?
All right, man. Yeah, totally. Let's
Do
go.
it.
Hi, we're Mouthful of Locusts. I'm Andrew Holliday. I play guitar.
I'm Brian Parsons. I play drums.
I'm Perry Menken. I yell things.
Curtis Mason, and I play bass.
So that's us. That's our band, believe it or not. How we started, I saw a video of Brian playing drums online.
Yep.
Just talking about this just a little bit ago. Sorry, guys. I'm got a little something going on. All right. And then Perry was with him, and then we convinced Curtis to play in our band. So that's it. We're pretty new. So we have a EP coming out, or if you're listening to this by now, maybe it's already out. It's called Human Dissonance. And the songs pretty much started was I was writing something, recording with someone, and I had 3 songs ready. After I asked Brian, he wrote drums to it. Perry was there, he wrote vocals. We went on those 3 songs, and then we wrote, 4 more. 4 more together. 4 more together. And so pretty much, I'm going to walk through the EP, all right? So we got Mouth Breathers. Mouth Breathers is one of the oldest songs I've wrote. I wrote that shit probably when I was 19 years old. Most of it, besides a couple things that changed rhythmically. Obviously, Brian did his drums on it. All he did was just listen to it and just put what he felt. That's the biggest thing with this band, is that we want everybody to do kind of their own thing. If we have a little suggestion, we'll throw it in, but other than that, you kind of do your thing. We'll help you if you need help. That's how it goes. Lyrics-wise,
This is angry, anxious stuff. I don't know. Everything's about being angry about something or anxious about something, or
I think
feelings.
yeah, definitely a big thing I get with the lyrics for that one is just the climate of today.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Doesn't matter. Next one, Spirals. Another pretty decently old song. Definitely changed a lot coming into the band because I don't know shit about recording and I don't know anything about time signatures or nothing. So that one is definitely
That's about anxiety, for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
It's all about anxiety.
Side note, every time someone comes up and talks to us about it, they say that song gives me anxiety. So it's doing well. It's doing really well for everybody. Assisted Living Dracula seems to be everybody's fucking favorite. It's super simple structured. I wrote that one while we were together. It's one of the last songs I actually wrote. So yeah, it's a fun little melodic, Deftones-y sometimes song to me. But anyways, lyrics.
It's about drug abuse, like meth mostly, from growing up around a meth head, my stepdad.
There we go. Now you know. But the lyrics are really good. Lyrics are really good. Mask, the first single. Hey, how we started. Hey, how we started. But anyways, Mask was honestly another song that was written later into it. It wasn't one of the 3 originals. I think that one's about a ex-girlfriend, right?
No, well, let's not say that. That's kinky sex.
Not about that,
Kinky
but
sex.
told you. Anyways, and then after that is fucking It Only Gets Worse. It Only Gets Worse. Another kind of older song that I wrote. One of the OGs, as you could say.
One of the original 3.
And that one we all kind of fucking collaborated on lyrics with, just to, I don't know, try something new. Like, I think we should definitely do more collaborating and stuff on each other's parts and new stuff, for my personal opinion, because I think it comes out really good. That one's just our idea at first was a suicide note. It was supposed to kind of read out like that. It kind of still does. It kind of more sounds like to me like someone who's just like fucking crazy, and they just don't know how to they don't know how to iterate that they want to kill themselves. They're like, I'm not really sure how to go about it, so I'm going to say a lot of words about it. All right. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That's us. So check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp. We're on Bandcamp. And we play shows a lot. So come out and see us. We love you. And that's all I got. Anybody else want to say anything?
Get it all in the nose there.
Yes, it's coffee time. Coffee. Cappuccino. Java. Yes.
What's up, everybody? It's that time. Get caffeinated. Boom.
Fresh
All right.
pods.
That's right. So my wife got us all 3 bags of Modest Coffee Roasters here in Chicago, Illinois. But 3 different bags. I got the medium roast. I think, Steven, you got the in between, right?
Yeah, is it the Modest? It's like a it was like a smooth. It was good. Yeah.
No, I mean, what was the roast? Was it dark in between?
It just it's just a.
Isn't yours?
Just a,
Isn't yours like a 3rd level?
says it's not full city. You're talking about the chart at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like halfway. So yeah, it's like medium, I guess, a little bit over.
Yeah,
that.
mine's got 2. Charted in for medium.
Oh, yeah.
Yours has got 3, I think. And Mick's is all the way dark, right, Mick?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
It's
Well, my Modest Coffee, I got a single origin coffee from Colombia. The notes are apple, cinnamon, and chocolate. And like I stated, it's a medium roast.
Mhm.
But so I opened the bag and I smelled this coffee about 4 times. I was like, oh, and I know this might sound crazy, but I actually smelled the apple. And it's probably because I read the notes beforehand on the bag and it tricked my brain and tickled it a little bit. But I kept smelling it. And sure enough, there it was, the apple smell. And it's like almost like a nutty apple smell. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I really dig this coffee. And I'm not just saying that because my wife got it, because she's got me some coffee before that I was like, I don't know about this. But this coffee's a win. And I'm not very good at lying when I don't like stuff. And Mick can contest to that. But I don't know, man. This coffee it's so smooth and it's so flavorful. And to me, my taste buds, it has like a slight syrupy, apple, buttery taste to it. And I thought it was delicious. It's definitely a treat to make it in the morning. And I know like we're trying to save money right now to get a house and, for Otto's stuff. And so we're on a budget. And so we've been drinking budget coffee lately. And so when she got me this, I was like, yes, this is so good. But speaking of budget coffee, my wife, she suggested we do a budget coffee episode.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be
I think
awesome.
I'm down. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
that's all I got to say about that. Your turn.
Who's that?
Well, you're next in line because you got the coffee in between me and Wiley, so you're up next.
Oh yeah.
I would say, so I loved it. First thing, the package showed up on my doorstep, and all I could smell was the coffee before I even opened it. And I'm like,
Nice.
oh, this is gonna be so good. Mine was the Modest is the name. Honduras, the single origin. It had dark chocolate, caramel. It definitely is a very solid cup of coffee. No like extreme caramel, no extreme chocolate. It was a good blend, a very clean taste, very smooth. Definitely a coffee that I could drink daily, like morning, night, didn't matter when. I could roast this and drink it. I would definitely allow you to send me more for sure. Anytime you want. But no, I would buy this coffee. It's great. My wife loved it. I loved it. I had a couple of friends over. They tried it. They absolutely loved it. And you could put it in the cabinet, and I can smell it from like so far away because it's just so fresh. It's just got a great coffee smell. It's I was stoked. I definitely loved it, and I'm very thankful that you sent it to me.
My wife did, yeah. And that's I know you're telling the truth because you sent us coffee last time, and you're like, I don't really like it.
Yeah. I was nervous, man. I'm like, oh, I hope I like this coffee because
Nah, you gotta be honest.
No, but it was really good. It's very solid, great coffee. Definitely worth the purchase. I'd love to try the other ones too.
That's a damn good review, I say.
Well, hey, I had the Uganda Budutta coffee, and it's just the dark. Which I love that, the dark. It had notes of dark chocolate, earthy, rich, and the one word that I have for this is it's just smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth. And I know when I say this is like, I'm not meaning that it's like mud, like I made it that way, but right. It's thick. Like, not like there's grounds in the coffee or anything like that, but it's just like, it's like real. It's like the taste is just so thick and smooth. And I could definitely taste the dark chocolate, which I love dark chocolate. So that coming through in the coffee is so good. And I tell you what else I love about this. I love grinding this coffee because it smells even better when you grind it. Like it just wafts in the air, and it's almost like, this morning, Lindsay got up early and she ground the coffee and everything, and I could smell it. As soon as she started grinding it, I could smell it. And it was like I was floating down the stairs coming to get the coffee. It was like, it's
like
just,
cartoon style.
Yeah, that cartoon style. Like you're kind of floating after the smell. It's just so good. I absolutely love it. I just want to say that Libby is a saint for sending me this coffee. And Lindsay loved it. It's just a good coffee. I'm so glad. And we have been doing the same thing, Wiley. We've been drinking like budget coffee too, and some good stuff. But like you said, just budget stuff. And it was a treat to get this. I was so excited.
Well, I didn't realize how much money we were spending on coffee till she broke it down the budget. I'm like, oh shit.
I know, right?
This could be a car payment,
right?
Yeah, it's crazy how expensive that stuff can get real fast, but yeah. So
adds up quick.
So
well, cool, Libby, you did it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Made
all three of us happy and for real.
Very happy.
No lie.
We be coffee happy.
What do you know what the price range was for it? Is it like?
Oh, you know what? I'm only guessing, but I want to say like 14.
Okay. That's reasonable.
But that's a guess because I think she told me that, but I can't be sure. She did all this. She picked it out. She bought it. This is all her. This is not me at all. Like she did everything. So
was yours smooth too? Like mine?
Super smooth. Super smooth.
I think it's. Do you think it's because it's washed? Like it was very clean. Like I don't know, like clean and smooth. Those are the two words that kept coming to my head when I was trying to.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew more about coffee, I might be able to answer that, but I don't know. Right. I don't know if how many times you wash it makes it smooth. I guess I should because we have a podcast with the word coffee in it, but I don't.
and yeah, it is $14. I just checked $14
nice.
for a 12-ounce bag. Yeah, so that's a good price. It's a decent price.
Nice. Yeah,
I remembered.
Yes,
cool.
So there it is. Fresh Pots coffee review. We told you it was a good one.
Take us out of here, Mick.
All right, here we go. It's super exciting and awesome to have our next guest on the show. We have Kate from 108 on. And if you don't know Kate, we're freaking out a little bit.
Are you? Oh my God.
Yes.
So cool. You don't need to freak out. Trust me.
Well, I was my wife and I were talking the other day about it had to be at least 94. My band Zao, we had a few days off, and so we decided we were going to drive from West Virginia all the way to DC. And so we drove straight through. Our car broke down. We didn't give up. We walked about 5 miles and hopped the train and got into DC, and we got to see you all and Damnation AD, and I'm pretty sure Shelter played too. It was in this little club you kind of walked down into in DC, and it was one of the best shows I remember my young 1994 heart could take. It was so awesome. So
it's funny because when you're younger, it's like you're so all in, like every fiber of your being cares, and you're like, it's actually related to why hardcore kids go on pilgrimages to India, and it's no big deal because it's like we've already done pilgrimages. I just realized I made the connection. I did this whole article on why so many people from hardcore became yoga teachers or spiritual teachers, and there's actually one pretty famous teacher of Buddhism that is an old hardcore kid, and I realized it's we spent our whole life in dedication to something 100% of the way, and then so it's funny when I have a million stories like that where you're frozen on the bottom of a van, but some band is playing, so you have to go.
Right.
Almost die, and you get there, and it's the greatest, So, yeah.
I got a question. So you kind of talking about that whole early era, so what was it like to be part of that, that early 90s, late 90s New York City hardcore, and then you're kind of seeing it come back around now because that 90s influence is huge right now in music and fashion. Pretty much everything, everywhere you look is 90s.
Right, yeah. And my kid started wearing big pants again, and I was like, oh yeah, here we go.
Right? Is it cool? Because I'm sure everybody else, you're quite caught up in it then, being young. But is it cool kind of looking and seeing it come back around and seeing what it's doing in the hardcore community?
I think it's for me, it was interesting because I was I'm old enough that my the sort of the heart of where it was the full embodied experience of hardcore was probably more 1986 to maybe early 90s.
Yep.
And then I got a little bit jaded, and that's I was in college, and then I didn't get jaded because I was in college. It's just it just shifted. The energy in New York was different. It was kind of moving toward this post-hardcore, so the early hardcore was Agnostic Front and, bands like that. And then, in some ways I think of Gorilla Biscuits as a newer band. So, so then it kind of shifted a little bit. And I guess for me, I think it's great. I also took a long break from hardcore. I just wasn't playing, and I wasn't, necessarily at shows because I was raising small children, which I guess you guys are now, so you understand.
Yep.
So for me, I just, you play and you do your thing. And then I kind of was raising my kids and working in the garden and this and that. My husband and I own Equal Vision, so I wasn't totally disconnected.
Mhm.
But I was sort of surprised at the impact that 108 really had on so many different people.
Right.
And I was talking to the guy from Decibel magazine, and he's doing some type of a book. And he was just saying that, he was talking about how 108 had this, like, it's not just like a band. It's like more than a band. And I actually, I feel like I can say that partially because I might have added, but I didn't create the sound of 108. That's really Vic. It's
Right.
a lot of that is, so much of that is Vic. So for me, I feel like I can be a little external and say it with like, no, I'm not saying it like I made this, but being part of it and then seeing the impact that it had on so many people, it's kind of amazing. And then, yeah, I love seeing trends come back around. I love seeing
Right.
the big pants and the stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. So yeah, I love it. And I also, yeah, just the amount of people I know that I knew when I was like a teenager is like so many people. And I think I'm realizing now how rare that is.
Right.
That's a hardcore phenomenon. So
I always thought it was crazy. Like I was heavily involved in like the whole 90s spirit-filled hardcore, like the Christian scene, and from being in Zaya, we toured a lot with Strong Arm and Overcome and all those guys. And the band that always came up, that we always talked about, that we always listened to a ton, was 108. And all those guys talked about you guys. They were, we were super excited when we would bring it up, we would talk about it. And I honestly think that it had an influence on us to be as positive as you all were, and also bring light to certain subjects that might not have been cool to talk about at the time, and with politics and relating to people and all of that. And you guys had a big influence on us. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it might sound weird, but it was huge to us. And I
hope, I think any spiritual like leanings and any, whether it's, how it kind of like manifested in hardcore music, which is hard to explain to people that didn't experience it. They're like, how do those two things go together? But I have two things to say about this. One is, and I think this concept does come from Christianity, which is the dark night of the soul. You know this concept?
Yeah.
So I think there was a Christian saint who spoke about it, and it's like, it's the moment that you experience where you just like wonder if anything has any meaning at all. Yeah. And, or like some type of an existential crisis. I think it was like St. John of the Cross or something. Yes. And he had this, the dark night of the soul is like the moment before you have your spiritual awakening. And I feel like hardcore was this like, it was like a fertile ground for that to ripen, for us to like travel through the dark night of the soul together. And however that manifested for different people in different spiritual paths was just, like this is something that is very particular to like Hinduism and Bhakti yoga, which is that there's something called the Ishta Devata or the Ishta Devi. So the goddess, or like in Christianity, they really revere Mary as the goddess. And they talk about the Holy Spirit as being the goddess, actually. So that's really interesting, because a lot of Christians are like, we don't really know what the Holy Spirit is, but the Hindus are like, we do.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
I think that got lost. I think it got lost along the way. And it was probably more prevalent in earlier Christianity. But one thing that we say is that God manifests to each of us exactly how we need God to manifest to us. So if it turns into, I don't know, sons of Abraham, or I was trying to think of all the different hardcore genres of like what type of like spirituality. I mean, the Krishna thing was heavy, but there were other people doing it other ways. So I think like, it's just however you need it to be. Then of course, if you're talking about some like a divine being, they can just adjust to meet you where you're at. That's like a spiritual quality. the great sacred teachers meet you where you're at. Why wouldn't the greatest, the one do that? So
right.
I think for us, and also the other thing that Vic was really, really good at, and I marvel at it now, is that he was able to take all these like really deep esoteric topics and turn them into like lyrics for a hardcore band.
Right.
Like, I don't even know how, like what he was channeling, but when I read back on it, I'm like, this is profound actually. And we were kids and somehow he did it. And somehow it's crazy actually, but it worked. So.
Yeah. And I always thought that's the beautiful thing with hardcore is that, especially in that time frame, is there just seemed to be a lot of camaraderie. Like people could work together, talk about things, work through things. And there was no it didn't feel like there was a whole lot of animosity going on. It felt like there was a lot of clicking, working together and being together. For me, at least, I always felt that. We played with a band from Wheeling, West Virginia called Bala a lot, and they were a Krishna band, and it was some of the greatest times that I ever had. And sitting down and talking with them and just sharing difference in spirituality and ideas and thoughts, which is honestly some of those conversations through my deconstruction from Christianity to where I am now. I go back to those things and hear those things, and even the conversation that we had with Godhead, yeah. The guitar player from Godhead.
Yeah, they're cool. They're like, that's like the new wave. That's the new wave of happening now. Which I think is, which to me is like, oh my God, is this still like happening? And it is,
right?
Happening all over, and people are still. It's funny because the guy that was the sort of like the spiritual teacher of the Philadelphia Temple, who's he's almost 80 years old now, but he was the one that like he's sort of like he's like this PhD like Ivy League, completely brilliant. His name is Ravinder Swarup, if you want to try to write that one down. But he saw something in what we were doing, and he was like, they've got something unique, and he like really supported us in what we were doing. He didn't think it was like not traditional enough, or like it was too weird to be of value or whatever. And so like I still know him now, like, and he got older enough, he moved up to upstate New York, and he lives in our neighborhood, and it's so amazing to like still have a relationship with him. And I think at the time we thought he was like 900 years old, but he was probably like, but we were teenagers, and he let us do our crazy thing, and he still kind of guided us along. And, he was one of the rare gurus who was married. So his wife was like our den mother, and she kind of guided us along, and they believed in us. And also I thought to myself, this dude is like 100, but he was like 50, and he's still kind of punk rock. Like he's actually still punk rock. Like he didn't abandon his principles to like do something else. Like he's still doing the same thing. And he always makes the joke that to be like a devotee, you had to be a double dropout in the 60s. Like first you had to drop out and be a hippie, then you had to drop out of being a hippie to be, a devotee. And in the same way, like, I guess the hardcore kids are like at least double dropouts, maybe even more. I feel like I keep dropping out and finding more stuff at the bottom, all the good stuff. No mud, no lotus.
What was it like taking such a long break? I mean, obviously you said you own Equal Visions, which I'm sure kept you pretty busy for the years, but taking that time off and then coming back and playing live shows, that must have been awesome. Like,
well, it was interesting because I didn't even own a guitar. I sold I had this orange ESP, and I sold it. I kind of I had little kids. I didn't have too much money. I needed some money. I sold the guitars. I had literally not picked up a guitar at all. I mean, when my kids got to be teenagers a little bit, they wanted to play guitar. So I'd tootle around on their acoustic guitars or something, my oldest child. And then, but I hadn't really played at all. And then they would ask me sometimes, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know. It's a weird energy. You're being a mom, and you're being all hyper nurturing. And then suddenly you're being
Right.
playing hard. So I've been able to strike a balance with that now, but I didn't know how to mix those energies. So it was crazy. They said, well, why don't you just come play like maybe 4 songs? Like they just coaxed me into it. So I just borrowed this acoustic guitar, and then I was just playing like deathbed on the acoustic guitar in my bedroom, and then I just literally went and I played for a few minutes in the backstage with trivia, and then I just plugged in and played like live in front of
Nice.
So, I mean, part of me was like just terrified. I was like, I hope I can do this. But as soon as it was like,
right.
like, oh, I did struggle. I'll admit, I did struggle when we did those songs of separation, because we played like 27 songs, and it was like actually hard for me to remember all of them.
Oh yeah.
I had to make myself little notes, like, because it wasn't, because I'd taken such a long time off from playing guitar. Like I had to kind of like reteach myself how to play guitar. So that was a little bit hard, actually. I was like, but I played other instruments and I played music and stuff, but I just hadn't been playing the guitar. And 108 music's it's technical, so.
Right.
But I hung in there.
That's awesome.
And I got over my thing. I used to be so freaked out that if I didn't play well, people would decide that girls in general that sucked at their instrument, which definitely was what everyone thought, for sure. I mean, that was definitely something I pushed up against a lot. So I was like hyper self-conscious about it before. And then now I was like, fuck it. Who cares? Like, there's also a lot of really a lot more women playing in bands, and they're all better than me. But I just realized that I hope that Vinny Stigma hears me say this, and it's kind of said as a joke and it's kind of loving, but if he doesn't touch his guitar and just holds it and is on stage, it's like enough, and I realized, yeah, why not? People want him there for so many reasons that isn't being the chopsiest guitar player. So I thought, if he can do it, why not?
Right.
Why not me?
Right.
Godmothers of hardcore, grandmothers of hardcore.
That's awesome.
Yeah, why not? But it was an adrenaline rush like I've never experienced in my life. I'll say that. And also it was funny because my kid Kalini was watching, and they were like, "Mom, I just had no idea." They didn't know that none of my kids saw me like that. And then, yeah, it was interesting. So it was interesting having that happen.
Are you a yoga instructor? Do you do that, or is it just you do instructing? How long?
I mean, I honestly have very little to do with Equal Vision. I don't do very much there. That's mostly Steve, and I have worked there off and on, and do this and that. But mostly, I've been teaching yoga, and I was a basketball coach for a while, and then I taught at a Montessori preschool and things like that. But I still teach yoga. I run a yoga teacher training school. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're like direct support for Equal Vision, right?
Yeah, I'm the backstage manager.
Right. So, Mick, you want to ask her? So we both saw something over the last week online, and I think you might have got a whiff of it. But so first off, huge props to who I'm going to bring up. Kelly at Sisterhood Straight Edge is an amazing person. I absolutely love what she does for everybody. I can't say enough good things. Kelly rocks. So, but we saw a post where someone was being not cool, and we want to talk about it because this kind of stuff's important. I think what your band stands for. Positive thinking, and what was said online. Did you run into a lot of that stuff back in the day, or
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because it was an interesting combination. The way I experienced it was that a lot of the boys were so navel gazing. It was almost like I was just it wasn't even like a conscious choice for them to push me to the periphery. It was like I didn't matter at all. It was like, who cares? No, they were so, which I thought was hilarious, because if you think if you think of the stereotype of straight edge boys, and all stereotypes, have they come from something. It's like the most boy energy, like boys adoring other boys, imitating boys, wearing the same clothes as other boys, this and that. And what's interesting about it was I was interviewed for some like, it was actually a Krishna guy interviewing me, and he's like, but wasn't it hard for you to maintain? And I was like, no, I was just perfectly happy being straight edge the entire time. And he's like, yeah, all the guys that I interviewed, and he's like Purcell and Ray and all those, he's like, they said it was really hard for them, and they fell off the bandwagon and had to like conceal it and crawl back up. And I was like, yeah, no, it wasn't a big deal for me. Like for me, it was such an internal choice, and there was no ego attached to it. I couldn't manifest any ego, anything, because no one cared, and I couldn't really be in the inner circle. There wasn't like Women of the Pit, and there wasn't all this like sisterhood stuff, because quite honestly, there were so few girls. It wasn't even like you were going to form that. So one very famous straight edge person in a famous straight edge band, who shall not be named, just out of hardcore etiquette, once said to me, girls can't be straight edge. The only purpose for girls is to stand on the side of the stage when bands play.
Ooh. Oh, God.
Yikes.
And I was like, wow, that's amazing. That is amazing coming from you, because you're like everyone's idol. So I was like, and I'm sure you guys just loved me. But it was interesting. And, so I just kind of just kept going, and I have had a lot of women now say like, thank you. Because I just stuck in there, when I was, and I said, I tell this story a lot, but when I went to this, I think it was like a 65 date tour. Like the first like tour that 108 did was with Shelter. And I think, how hardcore shows have like 6 bands every day. I think, so if you multiply 6 bands times 65, I'm not no math major, but it's a lot of people, 4 or 5 guys. I think there was one other girl that played, other than me, and all of those bands combined.
That's crazy.
And it was like, it just was so it was interesting for me, because that was the energy. Like people, like someone threw a bra at me at the City Garden show. Like someone actually like took the time to get a bra, pack it in their bag, carry their bag to the car, carry the bag into the show, make their way to the front of the stage just to do that. It's like a lot of effort. And I was just like, I'm not sure what your message is, but I know you're trying to like body shame me somehow. And I was just like, so there was a lot of that. I mean, but I think in general, like I was just reading this list of 9 things that women couldn't do until the 1990s.
What?
One of them until 1988. So imagine I was in 11th grade in 1988. Women could not get a loan to start a business without the signature of their father or their husband.
Holy shit.
Wow.
1988. So
that's crazy.
Until the 1970s, they did not allow women to compete in Olympics. I mean, in marathons. They didn't let women run marathons. The first woman that ran a marathon just like fucking she was wearing, they didn't even have women's running shoes, and she was she still does. I think she still runs marathons. She put on a pair of nursing shoes and like some cutoffs, and she like ran this, like basically what's still a world-class time. But like, you have to realize like, so hard. I mean, there were punks, there were a lot of punk women, but in hardcore it was very male dominant. And, I mean, I think probably for a woman, I have a lot of decent sized male energy to like toss around in the arena. But, there was a lot to be desired playing music. So, and that attitude of like, I thought it was so interesting, like you're in the, like that post that someone made was like, women are just trying to get attention by pretending they're straight edge. It's like,
right.
Really? And then women are just trying to, slutted up. It's like, okay, so what you're still saying is women shouldn't enjoy sex.
Right.
Is that what you're really saying? You're really saying, and then if they do, there's something wrong with them. And then they're just using their sluttiness to become straight edge. I was like, that is so archaic and so interesting, and so like, I just feel like we're ready for this totally new era where it's like, like we're, just even the whole power dynamics between men and women. It's like, this whole thing of women are like victims of like everything. And it's like, we're not victims of everything. We have agency. We make decisions about things, and we can be straight edge, whether you think we like, there's just all this male gatekeeping.
Right.
And it's like, you don't need to, you're not in charge of like the criterion and the whatever, the membership card of straight edge. Like, straight edge is a decision that you make on an internal level. So, becoming hardcore isn't like, there's not like a a bar you have to pass to get to it. So it's just interesting how much, and there's, I guess like, Jawbreaker had a song critiquing that, because you have all the New York hardcore people being like, they're not hardcore, and they're like, really? So there is a little bit of that, but I feel like that's like some kind of like weird old energy that we can dissolve that now. We can go right on ahead and dissolve that. I think we're ready for that as a society, and hardcore, I found out even more now than ever, really reflects what is happening in the rest of the larger society. And you see that with like the different types of people who call themselves hardcore. Like, some of them are like right-wing Trump supporters, and some of them are right. You're like, wait a minute, that's not my right. And then you have, I posted something for Pride, and like basically everyone in 108 who has kids that are like, except Trivia's kid is tiny, but like all our kids are basically queer and like trans, and not. I have one pretty average middle sort of son who's just, he's straight, I think, so far, or, he thinks he is so far, but like, so we're like, of course we're going to support Pride. Like, of course we are. And even if our kids weren't, even if it wasn't like close to our hearts, of course we were. I got some like, you guys are assholes and stuff. And I was like, oh, I love it. Block. Right. Right. And there's, but there are, there was no allowance for sort of like any type of diversity, in our whole society. So it's not surprising that, if you got raised in a family like that, you could go one of two ways. You could totally reject that, or you could find out that you're just like your dad later, like when you get to be 50. Well, we've seen a lot of these sort of hyper dad, uncle, sort of like creepy uncle types emerging. Like, I was surprised. I was like, I didn't know,
That's the perfect term, creepy uncle. It's like creepy uncle hardcore.
It's like the uncle that you're like, oh no, he's coming to Thanksgiving dinner and he's gonna bring up like whatever, like there's a lot of that. And I guess, that's pretty hard for me, but I also know that there's just a whole bunch, it runs the whole range. I guess I was just surprised to find that out, because this whole style of music for me and the whole lifestyle has had a political sort of theoretical component to it. And it always has, and it always will for me. And for me, that's what punk rock was about. Mm-hmm. But, to me, feminism is punk rock. To me, acceptance of all different types of people is punk rock, all of those things. But, of course, I don't also want to become a gatekeeper either. So,
right.
I
feel like seeing that though, like kind of got me aggravated because I felt like we're past those things, and then someone always has to come back and bring it back around. But like in general, what I see going on in the punk rock and hardcore scene is a lot more community, a lot more acceptance, and I feel like that's really grown and it's just taking off. So for these people online that like to be tough and gatekeeping and stuff, it's just they need to find something else to do, you know? But-
Right. And like, to be honest, I feel like the best thing about hardcore is that we're able to converse about these things, where we actually dialogue about them. And there's this whole, like, I went back to graduate school this year after I dropped my son off, I was like, I think I'll go get that PhD I was always looking for. So I'm actually right now in the master's program, and it's really interesting because they did all these studies about like the online communities and how they do polarize people so much, because even if you're standing there with your creepy uncle, actually, I don't really have a creepy uncle. I come from this like absolutely crazy leftist family. Like my uncle's like, oh, did I ever tell you the time I was walking home from, hold on one second. This is really ridiculous. But my husband is literally calling me from the Bain show right now. And I need to at least tell him I'm still doing the podcast. He's probably like, are you coming? It's like, no. So the thing is, when you're standing there with your creepy uncle and he says something that's totally like, women all belong in the kitchen, you get to look him in the eye and say, why do you think that? When you're online, there's no humanity.
Right.
So there's no progress.
Right.
And you might see my creepy uncle is just a really scared guy. And that's actually what the problem is. And so he's posturing all this stuff because he's frightened of the world now. And you could have some compassion for him, you know? And so like, that's this difficulty with the online community situation, which is that it creates this like lack of humanity and this barrier, you know, where you don't actually get to make progress. And hardcore did. People used to, you know, like here's an interesting thing. And I've kind of made contact with him again, but like Sam McPheeters, who sang for Born Against. Do you guys remember Born Against?
Yep.
So he actually went to high school with my brothers and is from Albany. And, you know, he was a part of a whole group of like punks who like were really anti-religion. And they were anti-religion for all the reasons that you should be anti-religion. It's, you know, because religion sometimes causes people to fight or causes people to lose their personality or not, you know, or just become blind followers. And, you know, I've been guilty of all of those things, you know, to some degree or other. And so they were against that. But so at the same time, like, I loved him. Like, he was super cool. Like, I was like, all right, so he's like, you know, anti-Christian or whatever. And they were like, you know, doing all these things. And he even wrote this song, Eulogy, which was like about Steve. And then Steve finally saw him and he goes, Sam, I wasn't dead. I was just in Pennsylvania. You know, it was like, Steve's dead. And I wasn't even offered a chance to say goodbye. And it was like really drama and stuff. But Steve was. And then when Sam wrote his book, I was like, Sam, I read your book. It's really good. He was like, I figured you hated me. I was like, you figured wrong. I never hated you, you know? So there is this like, who does that? I mean, outside of hardcore, when you have these like ultra divergent opinions, you generally kind of, and algorithms drive this too. That was part of the research we were doing. So algorithms, so like if you always post pro-gun things, the algorithms push you toward the pro-gun people, then you become more pro-gun. If you're, you know, whatever your flavor is, you get pushed. In your online community gets all the people whose opinions are different from yours. They get weeded out by algorithms. So you wind up thinking everyone thinks like you, and then you lose your ability to sort of have perspective that, oh, there's actually really good people who don't think like me, and I can still like them too, and we can just not agree on everything. I mean, there's obviously some things that if you're treading on other people's rights, I'm not going to agree with you on that. But there's some things that it's, you know, so it's finding those subtleties, and hardcore was good at that. Hardcore is really good at that. We talked about those things. So like you were saying, like you might have had a totally different spiritual path, but you hung out with the Krishna kids and you had like a ball, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you were able to receive some essence of like what we were going through spiritually that made sense to you and was universal in some way.
Right.
So that's really cool. Yeah.
So we'll start wrapping things up, and that way,
Okay.
because we know who's in town, and we know like if you might have a chance to go see him.
Bane probably just finished, and I told Aaron, and it's okay. I get to hang out with him before, and I'll just go see them somewhere else. It's totally cool, but maybe I'll go like dance to Newfound Glory or something like that.
There you go.
So, the show's Coffee and Hardcore. Do you drink coffee?
I do. So tell me about Coffee and Hardcore.
We just like coffee a whole lot, and we like hardcore music, so they just kind of got combined together.
Right.
So we normally ask
it.
folks like, so what we normally ask, like, what's your go-to coffee? Like, is there a shop that you like to go to? Is there something you like to brew at home? Like, what's your go-to?
I mean, it's interesting that like I actually like all different types of coffee. Like, and if you ever go to India, they make coffee that's like mostly like it's mostly sugar and then like some like soluble coffee. And but somehow when they make it, it's like really good. And I also like gas station coffee perfectly fine. I'm like, all right, this is good. Like in New York, we have this thing called Stewart's, and they even have silk creamer now. And like, it's like $1, but I love all kinds of coffee from like Turkish coffee to like, like just literally anything. It's funny because I was having this talk with Mike Judge. Have you guys had Mike Judge on the show?
No, not yet. No, we want to.
So he lives in Albany, so he makes French press every morning. Ooh. And he's like, the water has to be 212 degrees. He's like, I start thinking about it then at night before I go to bed. Like, I can't wait to wake up. Coffee. And it's funny because my mom is Scandinavian, and they're like, she used to make us like baby coffee. Do you know about baby coffee?
No.
It might be particular to Norwegians, but I've heard that in South America too. She would make, we had these little toy cups that were like from a tea set, and she would put like milk and sugar and then a little taste of coffee in there. And then it's funny. And then she was like so mad at me when I didn't start drinking. Norwegians drink like a ton of coffee. I guess it's like the highest coffee drinking culture in the world. So like, she was like so relieved. She was like, oh, we can be friends again. So yeah, awesome. It's hilarious.
So one of the last questions we normally ask is, do you have like a guilty pleasure like album or TV show that like if people found out that you listened to this or watch this, they'd be like, are you kidding me? Really? And we've had some crazy ones. So
oh really? Oh my God. Well, first of all, I'm a person that's not subjected to normal embarrassment. Like hardly anything embarrasses me. And I also like, this could partially be a New Yorker thing. My sister lives in the Midwest now, and she's like, I tell people stuff, and they're like, you don't tell people those things. And she's like, oh, I tell them on the first day. So I think it would be funnier if I told you how many of the like tough guy hardcore like guys actually watch like Downton Abbey and then like write to me about it. And I'm like, nice. They're like, I can't believe Sybil, blah, 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 you know? So I did watch every single episode of Jane the Virgin, every single episode, start to finish. But I don't think that's embarrassing because that show is awesome. And then I don't think I'm embarrassing as a musical listener as an adult, but I will tell you that I was a hardcore Menudo fan.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
I was too when I was
a kid. You liked Menudo?
Yes. Yes.
I started to be into music when I was really little. So the first vinyl that I got, it's actually even almost a little worse, but now I realize maybe it's cool. The first vinyl I got was John Denver. I was like, I love it. This is so good. Yeah, I love John Denver. And then I don't know. I think like my friend's dad was listening to it. And then I was like, can I get this John Denver vinyl? I had like one of those old fashioned record players that was like a piece of furniture. And then the speakers were like, And then after that, I got the Menudo records, and I had like every Menudo on vinyl. Oh God. And I had all the Teen Beat magazines. Like I used to go to the supermarket with my mom and go straight to the Teen Beat magazines. And I was like, oh no, whoever it is has gotten too old for Menudo and they're replacing him.
It's funny seeing your kids.
I want to come up with a more embarrassing, like I need some suggestions on TV shows. Like it's somehow if you're female, then it's like you can get away. Like I love watching Call the Midwives. I love that one. Did you guys ever watch that? I mean, yes. It tells quite a long history of like women's reproductive health. It's quite a good one, but like, I love anything that's like, my friend Jeff, he named the genre of TV show and movie that I like the most. And his wife, who's a good friend of mine, her name is Stacia. She told me it's called historical boning. Anything where there's like Victorian women like getting it on, but they pan away before anything happens, but they're ruffled or whatever. I'm like, this is so great. So I did watch like Bridgerton. I watched all of Bridgerton. So yeah.
Yeah,
anyway, I don't even know. Is that even embarrassing? I think it would be like embarrassing if Mike Judge confesses to watching Bridgerton, but if I do, you guys are like, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
I want to hear what your embarrassing thing is.
Oh, I've watched all of Downton Abbey. I've seen the movie. I want to see the new movie.
I know. Me too.
I've watched the majority of Call of the Midwife. I came in and my wife was watching it, and I just sat down and slowly I kept asking her questions. I'm like, who is that? What are they doing? Why is this happening? What's going on? And I got sucked in. I love that.
I love a show with some good, strong nuns. I love some nuns. Yeah.
But I have a huge crush on Stanley Tucci. So like I watch his Italian, the Searching for Italy, where he goes to all the. I can watch that all day long. It's so good. Yeah.
Nice.
My wife bought his new book. She got it for me and it's autographed and all this stuff. It was like the greatest.
Oh my God.
It's like the greatest birthday present I ever got.
Like, yes.
Right.
I love hearing like the hardcore drummers who are like, yeah, I love the nature shows on PBS. I'm like, okay. Or like a guy from Cannibal Corpse, and he does the he has his like Instagram page, but it's like he shows what sales are happening at Target. Yes. I'm like, this is the content I was looking. This is it right here. So good. Like what? Who doesn't want that? I mean, like only psychos don't want to see where the toes. Right. I was like, oh my God, I love it so much. It's so funny. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on. Sorry about the little like snafu today. I was just like, oh no, Bane is playing. You know what it is? Like I haven't been paying attention. Like I was in graduate school and every second of the last year of my life was completely scheduled. Right. And I just finished over the last 3 weeks and suddenly I'm like, there's no calendar. There's no time. I don't know what's happening. I'm free, So I just started to I was like, okay, my calendar, which is underneath my computer now, which is this, was still in April. There was like one little page in May, which was like this paper due. So anyway, thanks so much, you guys. It was really fun.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. I don't know. We didn't talk about 108 that much, but that's any last questions?
Well,
Mike. Okay.
We're just going to ask, do you guys have anything coming up soon or anything you're going to drop or any new stuff?
Well, we're trying to, I mean, so Vic lives in Japan, so it's tricky. So we are trying to at the very least play some shows in December. And we're starting out booking some shows on the East Coast, and then and we share a drummer with Madball. So Mike plays in 108 and then he plays in Madball. So we're trying to keep the balance because that's how he makes his livelihood, and we love to play with him the most. So we're just trying to find that balance. And then you know, and Trivy and I have started to write a little bit of music, but we really need Vic to come in, but we got to kind of pull him out of Japan because he goes into these like deep spiritual states of like nirvana ecstasy, and we're like, hey buddy, come on back, write some riffs.
Right.
He's just Vedic astrology. He's very intellectual, so you know. Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. It was really fun. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess we'll talk soon, and let me know when this thing comes out or whatever. I should tell my mom.
Awesome. Definitely.
My mom doesn't care. She really doesn't. My mom, I have to just say, I'll say one last thing. We'll end it with mom core.
Nice.
My mom used to let every band sleep overnight at our house when I was in high school. I was like, Mom, Jawbreakers in town. She's like, okay. She let all these different, be like, can they carry some wood inside? Or she would like give them little tasks to do.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. She made the guys from Agnostic Front move her wood stove. And she kept calling Craig.
That's awesome.
We told her Craig's name was Craig Satari was in Agnostic Front. We told her his name is Craig AF. So she kept being like, so incredible. Such good stuff. Now my kids think I'm an idiot, so it's my karma. All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Thank you.
All right. It's that time of the show. It's hardcore time. We're going to do some amazing reviews. So I'm going to start off. Here we go. I'm bringing mine straight from the UK, Brighton, actually, which seems to be having a pretty good scene these days. The band is Negative Measures. The EP is Don't Let Them See Me. It was released May 13th on Pumpkin Records. This is just so catchy, so groovy. It's definitely a lot more punk than my usual. But it's a great mix. It's almost like get me like a Refused, Black Flag kind of mixed with some New York hardcore. If you put all that together.
That's good. That's good.
That's where you get Negative Measures from. Definitely super punky. I love the drums. The drums are just relentless. They just so groovy. And when you get the vocals together, it's killer ding punk hardcore. My favorite song off the release is Static Sign. So that's what I'm going to drop. And I'll put a little side note. I found these guys back in 2020. They released a single, Beneath the Ground, and that is also amazing. And I was looking forward to this. I'm kind of waiting. I think they might have got pushed back a little bit because of the whole COVID thing, just like everybody else in the world. But yeah, this is a very well put together EP. Go give it a listen. It's super punky, super hardcore. Static Sign.
That's the song you're dropping?
Yeah, definitely.
Speak for me! What they think I'm not a flame?
was a killer track.
It
What'd you think,
was.
Mick? Yeah.
Dude, I was so glad that you sent this. But here's the thing. This is so funny that like I kind of got the other coast vibe from this record. Like I totally could hear in the first song, I could totally hear like Strife, like a Strife vibe.
Yeah, right.
And then we get to the second song and I totally heard an Unbroken like vibe. So it's like
Right.
total Cali kind of sound to me. That's what it felt like. It's just every song has this vibe that just explodes. I love it. I love this EP. I think it's got everything that you could want for an EP. And you know, the fact that they're coming from the UK, that just tells me there's a good scene going on over there, because this is just a really solid EP. And I dig it. I love it. I love the guitar tones. I love, like you said, I love the drums. The vocals are just in your face. This is just a great record.
Yes.
I want this on vinyl. That's
Right.
like I want it on vinyl.
Is it available?
I don't
It
know.
is
I
on
didn't get
if you go to Pumpkin Records on their Instagram, it is available.
Ooh,
Yep, they have it on vinyl.
nice.
They got crazy colors or what?
I didn't get that far. I saw it, and I saw it clear, I believe, in a black. I actually just saw it tonight because I was figuring out who released the album, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go back and hit this Pumpkin Records page again, kind of go through it. So that's on the list of things to do.
So what's your favorite track there, Mick?
I think it's going to be the same as Stevens. I like Static Sign too. That's a good song.
Well, that's my favorite too, damn it. But are you still going with yours, Mr. Mick?
Yeah, I'm still going to go with that song. I dig it. Yeah, because that's the one, to me, that's the one that sounds like Unbroken. So that's why I'm drawn to it so much.
That's cool.
What'd you think, Wiley?
Well, I love the opening track, I Don't Owe You Anything. I think like that drums with the steady beat and the guitars coming in and out with the vocals, I think that's pretty rad. When it all comes together and hits you in the face with power, that's when I'm like, dude, that's when I knew, like the intro, I was like, this is cool. But when it all came in, I was like, I like this, man. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Like this is a solid 4-song EP for sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, Static Signs is my favorite jam on this EP. The guitar riff is so catchy. The guitar, I don't know, the guitarist in this band, is there just one or is there two? I don't know if you like double tracks, but it is above and beyond for sure. The like feedback, maybe it's not even feedback, but it's like the ding 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 ding. That little like guitar solo part, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yes.
yep.
It's stellar. You know, it like Eat Your Heart Out. What's that Rage Against the Machine guy? Tom Morello. It's so much cooler than anything Tom Morello has ever done. I can't get enough of it. The musicianship is out of this world on this EP, and I'm definitely excited to see what's next and glad that you sent this. So good job.
Thank you. It's pretty good stuff. I love the guitar along with the drum patterns, like especially the beginning of this and like the middle, it just brings it all back around. It's pretty cool stuff. For sure.
Yes.
Mick, what'd you get?
Well, here's what I brought to the table.
Oh, here we go.
I brought Bent Blue. The album is Between Your and Your. Came out 3/18/22. And listen, I was going to review this last month and we kicked it to this month, and I was so disappointed because I really, really, really dig this record, and I wanted to do everything I could to let other people know about it. I love the artwork. It's just crazy.
Artwork's really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy rad. The vocals are just crazy super. The dude just oozes emotion, like in his lyrics and in what he's trying to present. He just sounds like a crazy man that would be going nuts on stage. To me, I feel like he would have a vibe like is it Aaron is the vocalist for Me Without You?
Yes, Aaron Weiss. Yep.
Yeah, like in the early days, I don't know if he still is like this, but back in the early days,
like he's face plants on the stage.
Yeah, it's just crazy. That's how I imagine this guy is, because how just emotional the vocals and the lyrics are. the guitars have that sassy, old school, snotty
Ooh,
sound,
sassy and
like
snotty, all
like
in one.
yes, like almost like kind of like a Bad Brains Gorilla Biscuits kind of guitar sound. Like, and even the guitars are just kind of, I don't, sloppy's not the right word, but it's just like just it's not really riffy. It's just like, I don't know. It's just got that snotty sound,
like a chainsaw leaf blower.
Yes.
Yes.
And so you throw that in with the vocals, man. It just I love it. I love it. And the song that I really, really like is the first one. It's Then Ask Why. Oh, that song is just really good. And it fits in with, if you read the lyrics, it definitely talking about a lot of the stuff that's going on in with some of the crazy stuff with shootings going on in schools and different things like that. So it's definitely something that's in your face, grabs your attention, emotional, just out there trying to grab some attention and awareness too. So I just dig the song too. It's just so good. So yeah, I'm going to play that song right now.
Do it.
Here it comes.
What? Dude, that song was so good.
I know it's good,
So
man.
good.
I love it.
So good.
So I dig this record. Mick's always sending the different shit. Like he's always mixing it up and keeping me on my hardcore toes for sure. It's definitely different. It has like a Fugazi type production feel to it.
Yes. That was the other one I was thinking about. Yes.
Like it's definitely like newer hardcore mixed with alternative punk, old school emo, and old school hardcore. It's just weird. It's like the production it sounds old but new at the same time. It's cool. Like I couldn't wrap my head around it. I think like the vocals go in and out of sounding modern and old.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. And I really enjoyed listening to it. It's also, I think it's very creative musically. I think like it's all over the map in a good way. Like the title track, Between Your and Your, is probably my favorite. I love the melody and the drums and the bass on this track. I think like the vocals are on point. I think the bass tone is super slaptastic, and I know that's why Mick likes it.
Yeah.
It's like the bass really glues this band together. It's just all the music with the vocals. It's super tight, and I just think they're a very creative band. I think this band can go on to do really good things, and I think I've had enough time listening to this newer hardcore that adds different elements that I can finally be like, yeah, this is really good. Because I remember when Mick like started sending me He's like newer bands mixed with different stuff. I was like, I don't know about this. Get off my grass.
I just think it's funny, like when you were asking what was Mick's band again, and Steven said Bent Blue, and you're like, what the hell is Bent Blue?
Yeah,
it was funny.
It's like, what is this? Third Eye Blind cover band?
Right? Yeah, this album is awesome. I mean, it's on, what is it? It's on World Records, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And they're from San Diego.
Yeah.
California, bringing the hardcore.
It's funny because I
to
saw
your front door.
I saw someone post something. They're like, "Oh, what's a good melodic hardcore band to check out?" And I'm like, "I should." Oh wait, no,
Green
they're
Day.
punk. Oh wait, no, they're emo. Oh wait, they're and it's like so many genders in this
Genders?
one EP. Genders.
There's all these genders going on in this EP. It's awesome.
Tons of them. It's good stuff though. I mean, so I'll be honest, this kind of grew on me when I first listened to it. I was like, I don't know. And then that's usually a good sign, because whenever a record does that to me, that means I'm gonna really like it. 'Cause by the third listen, I was hooked. I personally think the end gets even better.
Yeah.
My favorite song was Influence Me, because I was reading an article and they kind of described what they're writing about. And it's all about social media, ignorance, people following people, being influenced, and, these people that they're following they shouldn't be following them, because they have no leg to stand on for what they're saying and stuff like that. So it was really cool. The lyrics to that song get me pumped up, because I hear wanna be your level of cool, please. It's just so, I don't know, like I just picture these people getting brainwashed from the internet stuff, and it's so real life these days. So
can I interject just for 1 second?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just so I don't forget that. My wife was telling me actually today, she's like, she was listening to a podcast or NPR or something, I'm not sure what, and they were saying they interviewed, a certain amount of people, and like a lot of them, it was like 25% or something, said they for their job, they interviewed all these kids. They want to be an influencer on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. And she was like, what's wrong with the world? You can make a job being an influencer on these things. Like,
it's crazy.
What happened to like doing trades, like passing down a trade to your kid, or doing like, I don't know. If all we have is influencers in the world, that's what all kids want to be.
Right.
I'm kind of scared for our society.
Yeah, the guy who was talking about the song, one of the guys, he said that it was inspired because he was hearing and seeing influencers with no authoritative qualifications to make statements, persuasions that negatively impact lives of real people. And I was like, oh, he just hooked me. Like,
I love that.
So yeah, but it's like, then you gotta listen to the lyrics. It definitely, it's a great EP. I think that they're gonna get even bigger. I know War Records will pump them up even more. That they're gonna push them all over the place. So
didn't War release that new Terror record?
Yeah.
They're
doing a lot of good stuff out there. So the dudes in Strife, we mentioned them earlier. Strife,
yeah,
a couple of different bands.
I do like that they mix genres, though. I think that's what you're trying to say before. But it's really cool, and Mick's like super into that. So
yes,
I got to get used to hearing a lot of those records. I'm okay with it.
You gotta definitely tell us which one you're bringing to the table, though.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Man, I got a monster of a band. It doesn't necessarily fit on this podcast, but I don't care.
No.
This band is called Mouthful of Locusts, and they're from Kalamazoo, Michigan. The album is Human Dissonance. 5 tracks. It releases June 25th. Right now, they've released 2 of the 5 tracks, but when this podcast drops, I think all the tracks will be live by then. But we got to listen to them early to review this EP. So I know, like I said, I know this isn't hardcore, but we can't pass on this release. People seriously need to hear it. It's just a wall of awesomeness.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
the songs are so long though, man, like super long. Average 4 to 5 minutes. And maybe that's not long. Maybe that's just, it's long to us because we normally listen to hardcore records and the songs like clock in from like 1 to 3 at the longest. But this is like, this to me, this is like more of a like spazzy, chaotic, slow, melodic grind kind of band. Maybe I don't know if I'm reaching there, but that's what I pull from it. They add so much musically and vocally. The singer does so many different styles. Like if you listen through all these 5 songs, like he'll sing sort of like a talkie sing thing. He'll do a talking. He'll do like these like just so good. It's so highly impressive and I super dig it. This is like, I'm going to tell this short story and you're gonna be like, what does this have to do with anything? But it does. So I was in a metal band about 9 years back called Drink Their Blood. The band is still active. I was in the band from the ground up, from the bottom floor, from zero. And I was with them on just a 3-track demo that we did. But they have a new singer. I guess he's not new because he came in like right after I was in the band. I was only in it for like a year. But music, super talented. Vocals, the new vocalist isn't really my style. I can't really get into their new stuff, but super talented dudes drink their blood. But anyways, the Mouthful of Locusts is perfect in my opinion because the vocals are how I wanted to do my vocals in Drink Their Blood in back in the day. But I clearly wasn't talented enough to do these metal vocals. Like looking back, I'm like, dude, this dude nailed it. Like this is exactly what I wanted to do. And the music and vocals in Mouthful of Locusts, I just feel like it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm like, hyping this up a lot, but it's just so good. It's there musically and it's there vocally. And when you finally hear a band that does this style of music where the music is there and the vocals are there, I think it blows you away.
Yeah.
Because there's so many bands that don't do it right. I was in one of them. I was the factor of why it didn't sound good, in my opinion. So I do like metal. I'm just super picky about it. And I think this EP is an absolute must. Drums are on point. Everything just clicks together perfectly. A+ record. These guys should be proud. My jam. I love it. I'm jamming it. I'm loving all of this. But I think I really like Spirals, but I think, but like, it's so good. But I think we should drop track 3, Assisted Living Dracula, because that's the track that I first clicked on that made me want to reach out to them to review this, because that track blew my mind.
Nice.
I think we should drop that because
right.
I think that's the first one people should hear.
Do it.
Assisted Living Dracula, drop it now. Boom.
To my own
mind-blowing track.
What just happened?
That was crazy. Crazy.
I have a mouthful of locusts.
Listen, here's what I think. Okay, it's so freaking heavy. It's like creepy, like hardcore metal mix divided by Zayo, and you get this band.
Right.
Like new Zayo, like the newer stuff. But to me, this is just.
It has a Black Dahlia feel too, though.
Yes, and even though they creep me out, I love the vocals like you. I love the vocals, but I feel like what I get when I listen, because sometimes I paint pictures in my head when I listen to stuff, and when I listen to the vocals, I feel like that this would be the dude that would wear all black and hide under the bed and grab your feet when you try to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
But dude, let me. I know that the
"Rah."
singer's name is Perry Minkin, and I hope I said his last name right. But he's like a goofy dude. He reminds me of Uncle Joey on
Really
Full House. Yeah, dude, he's so funny. He's a stand-up comedian. He does
No
comedy.
way.
He also has a podcast, and
Oh.
he's a cool dude. I know him from the Kalamazoo scene from back in the day, and he's just so funny. So hearing that come out of his mouth, I was like, "What?" And I didn't know he was that good,
Wow.
dude. He's like professional vocalist good.
Yeah, that to pull that off is pretty insane. Like I'm impressed.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm so super impressed. I
Yes.
heard it and my jaw like hit the floor. I had to surgically put it back on, and I was just like, I have to reach out to these guys.
Well, honestly, when you sent me what it was, like mouthful of locusts, I wasn't really expecting much, but this blew me away.
That's what I'm saying.
Blew
Because
me
so many
away.
of those bands let you down.
Yes, and
Like
this is so
90%
freaking
of
good.
those bands let you down.
Yeah,
Like either the music's not, either something, the drummer's not good,
right.
or something's not right, or the singer's bad. That's usually the case.
Yeah,
But like all of this was just flawless for
Right.
what it is. Like for that style, how do you get 5 musicians or however how do you get that many musicians that are that good? This is why aren't they huge?
I don't know.
I know they're
should be.
new.
Yeah,
So good.
Maybe they will be soon.
Yeah, they better be.
I think their Bandcamp sums
Get
it up
on,
perfect.
be the influencer. Get them
You got-
big.
Did you go to their Bandcamp?
Yeah, I
Just-
pre-ordered
Did
their.
you scroll down the bottom? They were 2 words that sums it up.
I don't think I saw that.
Weird heavy.
Yep.
I'm like,
And-
yep.
And yeah,
Like it's so good. It's weird heavy, and it's just like you said, chaotic. It's super metalcore-y. Like I don't know. It's
really
the kind of metal.
metalcore? I don't know.
I think kind of like it's got that metalcore vibe with hardcore and then just chaotic heavy
Yeah.
metal mixed. You remind me of the old Zayo stuff. Some of that
Really?
stuff. Yeah, a
I
little
don't,
bit.
I don't get that connection,
Like-
but
so
Like
I
the-
think it sounds more like the newer stuff.
new Zayo, yeah.
Like the mid 2000s. Sorry, not the 90s. More like
Oh,
the mid 2000s.
Kind of like Save Yourself from Hell.
Yeah, like that era. But
Okay, I can go with that.
it's raw. It's not cleaned up. They're very raw. I think that with this
Right.
EP, they're actually gonna blow up quite a bit. Especially if they're spread around. You know, it's a sound that would be. It catches your ear, and it's very chaotic. I love it. It's
Well, yeah. Because let me. I know I'm interrupting. I'm just so excited about this record.
Yeah.
But like, let me pinpoint on that. Like that, you said it's raw. That's the thing. Is like if you listen to like Black Dahlia or any of these like, or Cattle Decapitation or any of these big spazzy bands, like
Right.
there's even Locust. The band Locust from back in the
Mhm.
day. Like they're very. It's very polished,
Right.
And when you can do
right.
something that raw and still sound that good and that
Right.
talented and that on point,
Mhm.
that's crazy. Because usually when you hear music like that, it's super polished. So
Yeah.
like there's tons of studio magic.
Right.
Yes,
Like-
and the guitar
Yeah.
tones suck. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that, it sounds like every other record, and it's all processed, and it's like
Yes, and
And
this is
didn't
not
sound
like that.
No,
No, not at
not
all.
And each song is different too. Like it's not.
I
It's not the
know.
same. It's not the same thing over and over. Each song has almost like a different sound. It's very talented. I mean, these guys are very talented. So I was stoked that you sent it.
Well, so me being a vocalist, like I listened to other people's vocals and stuff, and like I'm not usually blown away. I was blown away by the Be Well vocals just because of the stuff he said. And Squint, I really like a lot. And hopefully we reach out to them. They might be on the podcast. They're interested. But I was like, damn, how does he come up with these things? Like, how is he? I would have never have thought to do some of the stuff that he did. And it just works. And it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning too.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about something that's coming out next week, and it's really just the beginning for them. So
I know.
Exciting.
That's another it's like I really am like campaigning for this band. I want them to do big things.
Yes.
I think I can help in any little way I want to.
I think you're dead on too with the assisted living Dracula. Like that's that all right. The name of the song grabs your attention.
Rob Zombie, way to go.
Right. The sound is great. That's probably my favorite song. Because it's the first one that I heard too. So
yeah, it's not my favorite song on the record, but I think everyone should hear it first because that's when I heard it, I was like, what?
Yeah, grabs you. You know.
Yeah, I still think Spirals is the best.
Yeah, that's a good song
in my opinion. The best. But awesome. Wow,
killer.
I don't know.
We
should give this band the King of All Kings participation trophy.
Here you go, fellas.
You did so good.
I think it's funny though. I did see a picture of them on the Bandcamp too, and I think they're wearing like Hawaiian shirts and stuff. So
yeah, they're like a ska band.
Yeah.
Keep guessing.
I heard it and I'm like, you know, this is probably the stuff that's playing at that ice cream place that Mick goes to.
Yes.
Death metal ice cream?
No, it's an ice cream sundae. Ice cream.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, there they
Take
are.
us out of here. We're done.
Here we go.
Get out.
Boom. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee and Hardcore outro.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
I'm your special guest who came on today to tell you that we're going to have a really good podcast next month. Jack Kelly from Slapshot will be joining us. He's also from Negative FX, Last Rides, Stars and Stripes, and I'm sure many, many, many more collaborations to come. I hope you all are doing well, but oh golly, this is the end. I'm one of your hosts, Wiley Willis.
Oh my gosh, and this is Mick from Parkersburg.
You got Steven Scopa from Boston.
What just happened?
So for the listeners, I tried doing a really energetic intro and my mic kept clipping me out and Mick's like, no. So I chose to do a somber one.
Slow it down.
That's right.
Hey,
slow down the record and listen to us hail Satan. Right?
Yeah. Well, now play it backwards.
Yeah, play it backwards. Oh gosh. So yeah, listen, like always, and I'm gonna do the part that Wiley hates. Please share this with your friends, like us on Facebook, like us on or follow us on Instagram. Go and leave us a review on Spotify and iTunes. But nothing below 4 stars. We're not going to put up with it. If you don't like it, just leave. That's how it is.
Go to our Instagram and screenshot our pictures and print it in black and white and color us with red crayon and send it to us.
Yeah.
Coffee and Hardcore at coffeeandhardcore.com.org.
Yeah.
That's slappy.
Send it with free coffee.
Yeah, that'd be great too.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, let's say this too. Hey, if you're a hardcore band out there and you want us to review your record, get a hold of us through either Facebook or Instagram.
Instagram's preferable.
Yeah, Instagram preferable. Send us a message through there, and we'll check it out. And just know we're brutally honest.
Yes,
Brutally.
but we're more active on Instagram. So
Yeah, we are more active on Instagram. So yeah. So
I think we got to lean on heavy weird because that's just weird
I like
heavy.
it.
Yeah, it's just stuck in my brain.
well,
I
there's
like
the
it,
show.
guys.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
That's
We're
it.
done.
we're
That's it.
done. This is the whole shebang happened.
It's over.
It's
We ain't got no more.
there's no more left.
Nothing else
Dude,
coming.
There's
If you
nothing
talk-
else.
If you talk
one's
slower,
got
it'll
nothing.
last a little bit.
All right.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh bother.
This has been the Coffee and Hardcore podcast. I guess we're gonna end you with Battle Royale's Coffee and Hardcore song that will be on Up the Pups 2 compilation with a lot of other bands coming this fall.
Send us free coffee, please.
Bring the free candy van to our door.
Oh my gosh.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. See you later.
Look out for the police.
Coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore, bullshit on. Coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore. Do it right. We got the double, we got the juice, we got the joke, we got reviews, we got the go fuck you out the bottle. If you like the back, you better support 'em. Coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore, bullshit on. Coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore, coffee and hardcore. Come on, try to line.
Okay. The Colorado Avalanche versus Tampa Bay Lightning, two-time Stanley Cup champions. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And go! The Avs win at home in overtime. What a close game. So close! Game 2, an absolute blowout with the Avs winning 7-0 at home. What a game! Not close at all. Game 3, first game at home for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it's a blowout for the Bulls, winning 6-2. Murder City. Game 4, the Avs win at Tampa Bay in OT, 3-2. So very close. Game 5 goes back to Colorado with the Avs able to win the cup at home and eliminate the Bolts. But the Bolts turn up the volume and outplay the Avs at home, winning 3-2. We got a series now. Game 6 goes to Tampa Bay. If the Lightning win this game, they force a Game 7. Yet the Bolts run out of gas and the Avs hold their 2-1 lead until the very end, making them the Stanley Cup winner! Oh my! They haven't won since the 2000-2001 Stanley Cup. 20 plus years, and they pulled it off again. The Colorado Avalanche are your 2022 Stanley Cup champs!